Yo, what's going down, Greene Entertainment fans? Your homie Jay Greene back right now with my review for Fast X. Now this right here is the 10th installment to the 22-year-strong Fast and the Furious franchise. Now I recently posted a Fast and the Furious franchise breakdown going over all of the films, some financial earnings, why certain actors weren't in the first couple of sequels, and some of the basic plot and storylines. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and click that link right here up at the top. On with the review. Now, for those of you out there who have no idea what this Fast and the Furious franchise installment is all about, I think the plot can be summarized by turning to the wise words of one of the 21st century's most influential and well-known street poets. And it goes like this. I never get to lay back because I always got to worry about the payback. Some buck that I roughed up way back, coming back, he says, coming back after all these years, rat-a-tat-tat, tat-tat, that's just the way that it is. Now that was the great Tupac Shakur off of the Changes album, 1998. This film is basically Die Hard with a Vengeance meets Infinity War. And you know what? I'm not mad. I kind of liked it. Now I say that it's Die Hard with a Vengeance on a global scale because Jason Momoa's character is the son of the slain cartel leader from Fast and the Furious 5. And this man is out for revenge on Dom for taking all of his family's money and killing his pops. He's leading them all over the world, playing games with his mind and his emotions. Now I can't say that I fully loved or even understood what Jason Momoa was going for in his portrayal of this particular character. But I can admit that with the combination of a Dennis Rodman, Lex Luthor from Batman v Superman, Jim Carrey's Riddler, and a hint of Heath Ledger's Joker, it definitely made him one of the most entertaining and memorable parts of this movie. So big ups to him on that. And I say that this movie has a touch of Infinity War because for the better portion of this film, our Avengers are separated and unable to communicate with each other. And that's an interesting direction for this franchise to take considering how much they pride themselves on family and doing ish together. However, it did actually work for me because of the fact is it was different and it gave Dom an opportunity to lose for once. Not because I'm hoping for him to fail, but if our heroes never get knocked down, how will they ever learn how to pick themselves back up? In action movies, that's often what gives us something to root for, and sometimes, especially in a franchise like this, can help us overlook some of the lunacy that is happening around them. And trust me, in this film, there is a shit ton. In this movie, we find Dom on the losing end of fights, street races, and he's even getting misled from one time or another. And in 9 films, when that never happens, it was a nice change of pace. Because looking back at this franchise, it seems like Dom's character should have probably aged out of the superhero game a long time ago. But apparently he's on athletic greens or something like this because he keeps getting stronger every installment. And with his power to control cars and the laws of physics over the past 3 installments, it was taking me out pretty much every single time. So because our usual cast of characters are somewhat put to the back burner and unable to help in any way or contribute to this particular story, by the end of the film, Dom is left in a position that is extremely reminiscent to the end of Infinity War, which for me made for a more entertaining watch because we've never seen all of our characters, Dom included, in a position where stakes were real to the point where we're kind of left at the end with a bit of a cliffhanger. Now in this movie there is one big ass reveal that made my jaw drop, and The Rock does show up in a post-credit scene. Now I'm not spoiling anything about The Rock because of the fact is that information did come out about a week or so ago. And both of these scenes were pretty fly because of the fact is the potential weight that they hold given the fact of how they play out in the next installment to this particular story. All in all, I like how they tried to humanize our heroes in this film in the direction that they took. And another thing that I liked that helped keep me engaged was that the story was a bit more straightforward in comparison to the last 3 Fast and the Furious films. We get a nice little backstory to the main villains and how they actually connect to Dom and that one fateful day in Brazil, rather than globetrotting and pointlessly passing the baton of psycho, money-hungry terrorists like every 10 minutes. If Fast 7 and 8 had the ridiculously and unbelievably dumb meter cranked up to 12 on a scale of 1 to 10, and Fast 9 straight broke that shit off and threw it in the Laurentian abyss along with Megatron, then this movie at least brought it back to shore. I can definitely say that I was entertained in the story that was being told between Dom and Jason Momoa's character. With everybody else, not so much. However, if they can continue to keep this story pretty straightforward in the second part to this film, and they can continue to dial back that cartoon element, plus make sure to develop the character reveals that came forth in this film in the next one, it's possible that this franchise could end on a high note. Now, I had a good enough time that I do feel confident in sending you to the theater to watch this action bonanza, but definitely not sober. You are gonna need that special little something to make that medicine go down. Maybe an edible, possibly a drink, maybe even a delicious meal at one of those dinner theaters to make this 2.5-hour movie worth it. With all that being said, I hope you got a little bit out of this review to know if this movie is going to be for you or not. And again, if you've seen all of the films and you're still on board after Fast 9, then trust me, this movie is a step in the right direction. But what say you? Are you planning on checking this movie out, or did they lose you with that Spirit Airlines trip to space in Fast 9? Inquiring minds want to know. Comment below. Your homie, Jay Greene, I'm out. Now, like I said, this movie has some dumb stuff in it for sure. I mean, it opens up, we see Dom's car in the same parking lot that Paul Walker was driving in the beginning of the very first Fast and the Furious film, and it's doing like figure eights going like 100 miles an hour. Figure eights between these two light posts and whatever. Finally, it stops, we get a top-down view, Dom gets out of the passenger seat. I'm like, hold up, who the hell's driving this man's car? Tell me why, I don't know how old his son is. 10, 12, 13 years old, is in the damn driver's seat. It looks like his feet can barely touch the pedals. So you mean to tell me this cat is drifting in the parking lot? Now, I don't know the name of the maze or the game or whatever, but my grandma used to have this old wooden box, and on the top was a movable platform. It had 2 knobs on the side, and you'd manipulate these knobs in order to move the platform. You'd put a steel marble in the top and try to get the marble to go all the way through the maze to the finish line without falling into the little holes. I feel like whoever created the very first big action set piece saw that situation and said, you know what? I got an idea. This bomb is going through Rome, running into buildings, cars, people, missing what it needs to miss, hitting what it needs to hit to make it a big action bonanza. But I'm thinking, how in the F is this non-motorized rolling bomb traveling through all of these particular areas to get to a specific space that Jason Momoa's character wants it to get to? It makes no sense. Now, there's a scene that you see in the trailers where Letty wakes up on a table and she looks over and there's Charlize Theron's character, Cypher. She's like, oh shit, right? Now, they start fighting in that scene, but there's no reason to start fighting. Letty starts fighting with her for reasons that I cannot understand because Charlize Theron's character is actually trying to save Letty. They need each other to get out of this like black site type prison, if you will. It makes no sense. One, where are all the other guards in this prison to come get you? Two, how did Cypher even get out of the fucking cuffs? She's never been to this prison before. Has she studied the blueprint? She didn't even know she was going to get caught up and be sent to this prison in the first damn place. Script don't make no sense. Now, you saw it in one of the trailers where Dom drives his car off of this dam. God damn. Like I said, this man has turned these films into every kid who grew up with toy cars and Hot Wheel tracks wet dream. What I liked about this movie was that they don't make so many cuts that they do in other films. But the problem is, because you don't cut so much, you also kind of show your hand that these stunts are impossible to accomplish. They show his car going over the dam in such a way that you realize that a second or two later, this car's blowing up, crashing into the side of the wall. But somehow they land clean on them tires and skirt into the water, safe as can be. Unbelievable.